we will see establishing nationalism in Europe. Okay, let's get started. I hope you have your 10th standard history textbook with you. Contemporary India part 2. Okay, so now what promoted a sense of nationalism among the people? So, what were the things that the people started thinking that we should have nationalism, we should have freedom, we should have some rights, basic or fundamental rights? So, what promoted, what were such things that brought the sense of nationalism among the people? Let us see that Germany, Italy, and Switzerland did not share a common culture or sense of identity in the 18th century. Now, here, if you see, their culture was totally different. Their food, their dress, like dressing sense, their languages, everything was very different. Okay, diversity was there. They were not together, but they were a part of Europe in the 18th century. So, society at this point of time was made up of aristocrats and peasants. Aristocrats, the people who are rich, okay, highly rich people, we can say, and peasants, those who are poor, those who are farmers, those who hardly make a living. Okay, so at that time in the 18th century, uh, people, the society was divided only into two divisions or two parts. One is aristocrat, that is rich, and the other are the peasants. Now, with industrialization, industrialization brought with it the middle class, made up of educated and liberal individuals. So we have seen this in French Revolution that middle class came up, but how it came up? With industrialization. Okay, liberal signified freedom for an individual in political and economic aspects, as well as equality before law. So the liberals, what they were asking for was the equality, having an importance and freedom on political and economic base. Okay, they just wanted that everyone should be treated equally, and the law should not be biased to a group of people. To the next, yeah. Meanwhile, after Napoleon's defeat, a Treaty of Vienna was signed between Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia to protect monarchy and social hierarchies. Now, with Napoleon, they, the people got the right to vote, right? They had, like, they were not gender biased, right? And slowly everyone got was equal in front of law. So monarchy and the social hierarchy were in danger. So as soon as Napoleon was defeated, again the monarchy was switched on. Again the people started protecting the monarchy and the social hierarchies. This was blatantly rejected by liberal nationalists. Blatantly, openly. Okay, very openly there in front of the people who were supporting or protecting monarchy. In front of them, they used to reject it. They used to protest against it. That was the condition then. Okay, the who were doing that, who were protesting, the liberal nationalists. Okay, now revolutionaries were specially trained in this thought in order to preserve this feeling of creation of nation states. So, see, when you have an idea what is going on, then you have an opinion about it. If you have no idea what is going on, or what, like we are having a discussion and you don't know the topic, then you just resist yourself to talk, right? You don't openly talk, speak, or you don't openly put forth your thoughts. But if you know about the topic, if you know something about it, you will openly say it. So, what did the liberal nationalists did? They started spreading their thoughts to the revolutionaries. They started making small groups. at different places, which were important, and they started protesting against um, the monarchy or the people who were not accepting equality. Okay, at different places, different people were there, so we cannot say one as a whole. That is why I'm saying that you need to understand the concept rather than what happened where. Okay, first you get the gist of it. First you get the central idea of what was going on. Okay, so the revolutionaries were specially trained in this way. The thoughts of the liberals were passed to the revolutionaries. Revolutionaries are the people who wanted change in the society. So the thoughts were passed by the liberal nationalists to these people, to these small groups, which in order why? So in order to preserve their feeling of creation of nation state. So unless they had a nation state, no equality will be there, no fundamental or basic rights will be given to them. Okay, they will be treated as before when there was monarchy or social hierarchies. Okay, so these were the steps taken. Now you need to read beginning of the page 8 till the end of page 12. We will read from here, okay? We won't go to directly the French Revolution and the idea of nation. Okay?
Lesson 1: The French Revolution and the Ideal of the Nation. The first clean expansion of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. France, as you would remember, was a full-fledged territorial
Fled. Fled.
state, fled state in 1789 under the rule of an absolute monarch.
Monarch.
The political and constitutional change that came in the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to body of French citizens. The
Hmm.
revolution proclaims that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation and shapes its
Destiny.
destiny.
Okay. Thank you. Destinators. Okay. Destiny means future. Right? Here you have to take a reference as future. Okay. Next.
From the very beginning, the French revolutionaries introduced various measures and practices that could create a sense of collective identity amongst the French people. The idea of la patrie, the fatherland, and la citoyen emphasized the notion
Notion.
of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. A new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The Estates General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. New hymns were composed, oaths taken, and martyrs
Yes.
commemorated,
Hmm.
commemorated all in the name of the nation. A
Hmm.
centralized administrative system was put in place and it formulated uniform laws for all citizens within its territory. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished, and a uniform system of weights and measure was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged, and French, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the nation.
So here all this paragraph is important. This can be asked for 1 mark or 3 mark. Okay. So this entire like from the what Palash read from the very beginning till here. Okay. The entire paragraph is important and you cannot omit reading this paragraph. Okay. So be very particular. If you have the textbook, please mark it as an important paragraph. Like 2 3 types of question can come on this, either 1 mark, either 3 mark, either about like what do you mean by la patrie. Okay, then what like the new French a French flag was replaced by whom? Like many other small 1 mark question, objective types of question can be asked, or 3 mark question can be asked on this paragraph. Okay, so I hope you have done with this. Then let's go to the next now paragraph. Yeah, so you have to read from here. I'll just tell you who is going to read.
The revolutionaries further declared that it was the mission of the destiny of the French nation to liberate the peoples of Europe from despotism, in other words, to help other of Europe to become nations. When the news of the events in France reached the different cities of Europe, students and other members of educated middle classes began setting up Jacobin clubs.
Jacobin clubs. Now,
Their
what is
active
Jacobin clubs?
okay.
You have learned in ninth standard, right? If you have read the book. Hmm. Move ahead.
Their, their activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies which moved into Be- Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of Italy in the 1790s. With the outbreak of the Revolutionary Wars, the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad.
So now the Jacobin clubs, what were they? The revolutionaries were political movement. Okay, that was the most famous political club during the French Revolution. So it was a club where people used to meet, come together, and discuss about how the revolution, how to take a revolutionary forward, what steps they are going to do, take, and how they are going to propaganda idea. Okay, got it?
Within the wide swath of territory that came under his control, Napoleon set about introducing many of the reforms that he had already introduced in France through a return to monarchy. Napoleon had no doubt destroyed democracy in France, but in the administrative field had incorporated revolutionary principles in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. The Civil Code of 1804, usually known as the Napoleonic Code, did away with all privileges based on birth, established equality before the law, and secured the right to property. This code was exported to the regions French control under the French control in the Dutch Republic, in Switzerland, in Italy, and Germany. Napoleon simplified administrative divisions, abolished the feudal system, and freed peasants from
Serfdom.
serf- serfdom and manorial dues. In the towns too, guild restrictions were removed. Transport and communication systems were improved. Peasant
Just a
artisans,
minute. Just a minute,
yes.
yes. I will give you a chance, but what I have highlighted, this is also an important sentence. Like what is a civil code? What is Napoleonic code? Such type of question can come on this, or else uh, like privilege based on birth, where abolished through which code? Such question can come. So this sentence is important. Please mark it. Continue reading.
Peasants, artisans, workers, and new businessmen uh,
Enjoyed.
enjoyed a newfound freedom. Businessmen and small scale products of goods in
Hmm.
producers of goods in particular began to realize that uniform laws, standardized weights and measures, and a common national currency would facilitate the movement and exchange of goods and capital from one region to another.
So what Napoleon did, so this whatever I have highlighted here, he did away with the privileges based on birth. Means what? The monarchy, the social hierarchy that was being abolished, established equality before law. All the people were treated equal. They had the same punishment or reward, whatever it according to the circumstances, and secured right of property. So even if they had a property, being peasants, being very in a miserable condition, they had to sell the property or keep it on with the rich people. So that was, and afterwards they used to just snatch it. So this all was stopped by Napoleon or the Napoleonic Code. These were the laws which were passed by Napoleon. Okay. Standardized weight means priorly it was like when you went to a cloth shop, the cloth was measured with a hand. Okay. A span of a hand from the tip of your right hand till the shoulder of your left hand. That was considered to be 1 meter. Okay. But it depends on the man's physique, a human's physique. The there are changes, right? In a meter, once one person's hand can be short, other hand can be long. If a tall person is measuring the cloth, then that can measure more. If a short person is doing that, it can measure less. So there was no standardized weight or measurements. So that was brought out by Napoleon. Then from year to year, like uh, 100 centimeter became 1 meter. So this was brought in the market, not only in France but in the market by Napoleon. Okay, and he passed all this, whatever the laws were made and the new things he passed in it to Italy, Germany, Switzerland. So in Europe, we can see. Okay, got it. This is also important from a answering point of view. Yes. So in Dutch Republic, yeah, till here. Okay, so what he did in all these places is he simplified the administrative divisions. So whatever the laws were there, he simplified them and abolished the feudal system. Feudal system was, what is a feudal system? Anybody? Yeah, with the standardized weight and measures. Okay, what happened? The common currency would facilitate, and this was a very good. The businessmen and the small scale producers started enjoying their business. Okay, so these were the changes made by Napoleon or the Napoleonic Code. So 5 mark question can be asked on this, and you have to read the 2-3 paragraphs and answer the question. Okay. Next.
However, in the areas conquered, the reaction of the local population to French rule were mixed. Initially, in many places such as Holland and Switzerland, as well as in certain cities like uh,
Brussels.
Brussels, Mainz, Milan, and Warsaw, the, the French armies were welcomed as harbingers of liberty. But enthusiasm soon turned to hostility.
Initial enthusiasm.
Initial enthusiasm soon turned into hostility as it became clear that the new administrative arrangement did not go hand in hand with political freedom. Increased taxation, censorship, forced con-
Conscription.
conscription into the French armies required to conquer the rest of Europe all seemed to outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes.
So the very first sentence, in the areas conquered, conquered by whom? Napoleon. The reaction of the local population were mixed. Okay, so this can be asked as a question of 5 marks, to which the answer is the rest of the paragraph. Okay, initially what happened? The people welcomed the Napoleonic Code, but slowly the taxes were increasing. Okay, then there were like beyond France, they had a restrictions. Censorship means here we have to take it as a restriction. So they were restricted from doing few things, and forced conscription into French army means they were forced to join the French army. Why? Because Napoleon wanted to conquer the rest of the Europe. Okay, so all this again made their life very sad. Okay, so this way, first they saw that it is good, but later on with some change in the laws, they did not welcome the French rule, or we can say the Napoleonic rule. Okay, so again mark this as an important paragraph. Let's go to the next now.
If you
Yeah.
look at the map of mid 18th century Europe, you will find that there were no nation states as we know them today. What do
Hmm.
we know? What we know today as Germany, Italy, Switzerland were divided into kingdoms like duchies, cantons, where rulers had their own autonomous territories. Eastern and Central Europe were under autocratic monarchies within the territories which lived diverse people. They did not see themselves as sharing a collective identity or a common culture. Often they even spoke different languages and belonged to different ethnic groups.
Ethnic.
The Habsburg Empire that ruled over Austria-Hungary, for example, was a patchwork of many different regions and people. It included the Alpine regions, the Tyrol, Australia, and Sudetenland, as well as Bohemia, where the aristocracy and was predominantly German speaking. It also included the Italian speaking provinces of Lombardy and
Hmm.
Venetia. In
Yes.
Hungary, half of the population spoke Magyar.
Magyar. Yes. Correct.
Magyar, yes, ma'am. Half of the population spoke Magyar, while the other half spoke a variety of
Dialect.
dialects. In Galicia, the aristocracy spoke Polish. Besides these three dominant groups, there also lived within the boundaries of an empire a mass of subject peasants people, Bohemians and Slovaks to the north, Slovenes in Carniola, Croats to the south, and Romans to the east in Transylvania. Such different places did not easily promote a sense of political unity. The only tie behind these binding these diverse groups together was a common allegiance to the emperor.
Okay. Thank you.
If you like our videos, do share them and subscribe to our channel. If you want awesome quizzes, write to us. Keep watching and keep learning with Walnut.